Okay, so this is the way I see it for the Trump versus Maduro debate. It's been a while now. It's now the 10th of January when I'm recording this. Um, what do I think about it? To be honest, I wasn't really surprised because all of that military build-up in the Caribbean Sea, they weren't there on holiday. They hadn't gone there to top up the tan. And also, Trump did an interview. Can't remember where it was on which American channel, but he basically said, "Oh, Maduro's days are limited." So, yeah, it was, a shocking moment, but it wasn't surprising. So the way I see it is, everyone's talking about oil. Yeah, okay, right. Venezuela has a lot of oil. Okay, and they say, "Oh, well, supply versus demand. Now there's going to be loads of oil on the market, so everything's going to get cheaper. Crude oil." Gas, the petrol we put in our cars, everything's going to get cheaper. Fantastic. No, no, you're wrong. That's the way I see it. Supply is manipulated. So the OPEC countries are a mafia. You have to remember that. And oil isn't oil everywhere, is it? You've got different types of oil. Some of it, you just kick the ground and it comes out. And other oil, you've got to drill deep, deep, deep down in the middle of the ocean or through permafrost. Then what do you do with it? You've got to get it out of there. You've got to refine it. Some of it comes out of the ground like honey, and it's really, really thick. And some of it comes out of the ground like water. So yeah, the cost of production can range from $2 to 70 per barrel. Okay, so some producers are making a lot of profit, and some producers are making a heck of a lot of profit at any given time. So the price of oil, the way I see it, is actually determined by the demand. Okay, and what is demand? It's basically the economic cycle. When factories are working at full capacity, when we're building things, when we're transporting things, when we're moving around, that's when oil is in demand, and that's when it gets expensive. So yeah, to everyone who said, "Oh, fantastic, we're going to get cheap energy because Venezuela finally is going to be, producing unsanctioned oil," you're wrong. Okay, so that doesn't change anything there, the way I see it. Then the actual assets in Venezuela. Okay, so a lot of this stuff was expropriated in the 90s. Okay, and I can imagine, I've not been there, but I can imagine that the state of the equipment there is pretty antiquated. Yeah, they've got huge oil fields, but can they actually get at it? So yeah, huge investment required, billions and billions of dollars. Okay, how quickly can they do that? I don't know. I'm just plucking a figure out of thin air here, but 5 to 10 years seems reasonable to me. So this isn't going to happen tomorrow. So these contracts that all these big oil chiefs are going to Venezuela to sign, you're thinking 5 to 10 to 20 to 30 years in the future to get at it and, exploit the entire oil field. What guarantees are they going to get? Would you invest billions and billions in something you don't know if it's going to disappear, get expropriated, or you don't know if the rules are going to change and you can't sell the stuff or whatever? So those, billions and billions, they've got to come with some sort of guarantee. Does Trump have a plan for that? I don't know. Yeah, I put this on here because the way that we see it at the moment is that Trump's trying to take control of Venezuela. Okay, but what is he actually attacking? This might sound like a tin pot conspiracy theory, but is he actually attacking China? Is he actually going after Chinese assets? Because Venezuela was selling their sovereign debt in return for tangible assets. I don't know, like oil infrastructure, the pipelines, the equipment, the canals, the roads, the railways, or whatever, and the cheap oil, of course. China's a thirsty economy, Everything you pick up in your house, it says made in China on the back, and that all comes from energy. So China is a thirsty economy, doesn't have its own oil. So I think China was quite happy to do a deal with Venezuela and Iran and Russia or whatever to get the cheap oil to keep it going. And I don't know, on this map here, you can't see South America, it's not on the map. But does the Belt and Road Initiative by China, does that actually include Venezuela? I think perhaps it does. Venezuela, Panama, who knows what's going on in Colombia. Maybe this Belt and Road Initiative by China actually does include South America. And Trump is saying, oi, hands off, this is my hemisphere. So how will China respond? Will they take this line down? I don't know. China, throughout history, I don't know. I mean, they don't tend to go after other countries. They never had an empire outside of China. Are they actually interested in a military conflict outside of China? Do they have the capabilities to pull something like that off? I don't know. I don't know how China will respond to this, but probably it will respond. Probably it will. I don't think they're going to take this line down, but I think there will have to be at some point a Chinese response, or a Russian response, or an Iranian response. Something will happen there. Okay, so the thing that worries me is that, Venezuela, it's got oil, it's got other resources, probably doesn't look very important, but is this the first move in a wider conflict? So that worries me quite a lot. Venezuela also has silver and rare earths. So I've put on the price of silver here. Silver's gone to the moon, okay? That's because it's in everything we own in terms of modern electronics, okay? Silver's a very, very good conductor of electricity. In our homes, we use copper wires. In the streets, towns, cities, and the national grid, they probably use copper and aluminium. Why? Because it's too expensive to put silver in everything, isn't it? And it gets robbed immediately. But silver is actually a much better conductor. So when you get down to these little fine electronics, silver is what everyone uses. In fact, probably in our mobile phones and computers, there's a load of silver, and China is controlling the silver supply. So I don't really understand what they're doing there in China, but are they making exports illegal, or are they making it illegal to leverage your position in silver? Or are they saying, if you own such and such in silver, do you actually have to back that up with a physical asset? So China is definitely playing around with the silver market, and also, the rare earth market in general. China's got tons of that stuff. It's also in Africa, Ukraine, Venezuela. So what's going to happen there? Does Trump have a plan to actually get at the silver and the rare earths? That could be another motivation for going after Maduro. So conclusions. China's not going to be happy. I don't think they're taking this line down. Trump, does he have a plan? It all seems a bit chaotic. What is the plan for Venezuela? He probably doesn't care about Venezuelan people too much. They're probably not in his plan. Oil prices, no, they're not going to go down. That's not determined by the oil that's in Venezuela. What's Trump going to do next? Is he going to take control of the Panama Canal, get up to something in Colombia, send soldiers to Greenland? I don't know about that. And if the US is going to invest in your company, if the US is going to invest in your country and your infrastructure, it's not actually a charitable donation. They want something in return. And I'll just put this on here. Yeah, does Trump actually care or have a plan for the Venezuelan people? Has he thought about all the different layers of government, the police, the army, the gangs, who's controlling the media, all the other institutions the country actually has? I think it's a joke. I mean, we went into Afghanistan, threw away trillions in Afghanistan, 20 years, and what's left at it? At the end of it, it's a broken state. And you can say that about Afghanistan, Libya, Iraq, Syria. These are just broken states. They're not countries in the sense that we understand them. You don't go to work, pay your taxes. You've got roads, you've got water, electricity, the police, firemen, the army protecting you, higher education, health, retirement plans, all these social security benefits that we have, and the way that we organise it is, oh God, I shouldn't say this because I live in Spain. So is it at the regional government level or is it the national government level? You know, okay, whatever. I don't want to get into that. But, and who gets what and who gets to decide what and what level of services provided in different regions. The point is that the way that we understand a country, and we are very comfortable in our lifestyles here in the West, it's not actually how the world works. It's not how the world works. And as soon as, you go outside of this very comfortable bubble that we live in, it's anarchy. It's chaos. Life is fragile. You're very, very vulnerable. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, can you actually fix a country? Probably not. Does he want to fix Venezuela? Probably not. So yeah, good luck with that. I don't think that's going to change, and I actually think that's a tragedy. Stories are coming out today. It's the 10th of January. Like I say, stories are coming out of people being released from prison in these torture centres and whatnot, and it's horrible. It's horrible. So yeah, I don't think Trump is the saviour. I don't think he's going to fix anything. But yeah, let's see. He'll try to get the oil, the rare earths, and the silver, and he's looking after himself. Okay. Anyway, that's just the way I see it. Let me know if you agree, disagree, whatever in the comments. If you've got any more information. I don't know. I'm not optimistic about this, to be honest.